The desert of Saudi Arabia, once a silent witness to centuries of caravans and conquest, now hosts one of the most audacious spectacles in modern tennis. Inside Riyadh's gleaming ABN arena, polished hardcourt, futuristic illumination, and a production that feels more Hollywood premiere than tour stop, the Six Kings Slam has returned. It's an event that began as an exhibition and has quickly mutated into something far sharper. A compact battleground where reputations, pride, and astronomical prize money collide. This is not a conventional tournament. It is high voltage and ruthless. In just 3 matches, a player can walk away with roughly €7 million, appearance plus winner's prize. A figure that eclipses the purses of any Grand Slam. There are no warm-up rounds, no early strolls, and absolutely no margin for error. One off day and you're gone. By every measure, it's a sprint through fire. Riyadh's 2025 cast reads like a blockbuster marquee. Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, Alexander Zverev, Taylor Fritz, and Stefanos Tsitsipas, a late replacement for the injured Jack Draper. Each man arrives with a distinct storyline. Djokovic, the ultimate collector of titles, is here to reinforce longevity as a superpower. Alcaraz, world number 1, embodies the sport's new age, explosive movement, tactical maturity, fearless imagination. Sinner, the ice-cool artillery master, returns to a stage where he lifted the trophy last year and pocketed a jaw-dropping check. Zverev, perennial threat indoors, hunts statement wins. Tsitsipas searches for rhythm after injury. And Fritz, quietly, relentlessly, brings form and belief forged over a year of tough indoor assignments. The format heightens everything. Matches arrive like thunderclaps. The court is fast, slick, unforgiving. It rewards first-strike tennis and punishes hesitation. There are no, "I'll adjust in the second week," luxuries. From the opening ball, every serve pattern, every return stance, every transition has to be on script. Blink, and the set is gone. Lose one service game, and your night may be over. Into this environment walked Taylor Fritz, 27, with a season built on momentum and meticulous improvement. Titles on grass in Stuttgart and Eastbourne established a rhythm. Indoor wins and top 10 scalps hardened his edge. When he said, half joking, fully believing, "I love being able to win $6 million in just 3 matches," he wasn't flexing. He was projecting intent. Fritz arrived in Riyadh not to participate, but to conquer. Across this desert stage, the gatekeepers wait. Alcaraz, as top seed, is already in the semifinals, a structural advantage that reduces wear but also creates a unique risk. No on-site match reps before the serious stuff begins. The Spaniard sprinted through Tokyo after an ankle scare, then prudently skipped Shanghai. He says he's healthy again, the step lively, the conviction intact. Yet the Six Kings timetable is merciless. Unlike a traditional Masters or Slam, he won't have 2 matches to calibrate toss height, return contact point, or short-angle feel. He must be ready immediately, likely against a quarter-final hardened opponent swinging freely. That opponent, as the draw dictated, would come from Fritz versus Zverev, a rivalry that has been quietly tilting American. Zverev's serve forebodes danger on any quick court. His backhand line can pin anyone. But Fritz's evolution, cleaner backhand depth, more decisive forehand acceleration, and especially elite serve patterns under pressure, has flipped their dynamic. The math is simple in Riyadh. Hold serve ruthlessly, take your look on the short ball, and protect your nerves when the tie-break siren wails. The stakes? Beyond money and marketing, this week functions as a litmus test for the sport's shifting order. Djokovic remains the North Star of match management. Sinner radiates inevitable ascent. Alcaraz is the sport's beating heart of chaos and charisma. But players like Fritz are erasing the gap, by precision, by discipline, by making indoor tennis a science of margins. Riyadh compresses that science into a 3-day thesis defense. Present your work. No excuses. Crowds in the ABN arena reflect tennis's new geography. Fans from the Gulf and across Asia blending with traveling diehards. Corporate suites stacked beside local families who discovered the game on their phones and now crave the live roar. The production mirrors that ambition. LED light sequences, cinematic walk-ins, multilingual commentary, data-rich broadcast graphics. It's tennis's primetime event, designed for the scroll and the stadium alike. When Fritz and Zverev were called, the noise rippled. Alcaraz, in a black hoodie, watched from the corridor monitors. Djokovic, routine perfected, stretched in the gym, Sinner wrapped recovery, eyes already tracking likely patterns for a potential rematch with Novak. That's the other truth of Six Kings. Everybody is scouting everybody. With only 6 men, no storyline is hidden, no weakness a secret. You either embrace the heat, or it melts your plans into the Riyadh night. And so the week's first gauntlet fell to Fritz. He crossed the sideline with shoulders squared and a stillness that used to desert him on big nights. The serve toss looked settled. The return position was a half-step bolder. His footwork, efficient, not flashy, hugged the baseline. In this arena, under this format, those are the tells that say, "I'm on time." What followed would either validate a year of recalibration, or remind the American how thin the line is when 6 kings crowd the same throne. Taylor Fritz opened like a man reading the future. First serve to the body, second wide, backhand return planted deep to Zverev's shoelaces. Patterns with purpose. In the first 4 points, he telegraphed his plan. Deny Zverev rhythm on the first ball, hold center court on the second, and keep every rally below 6 shots whenever possible. On a fast indoor deck, that's a killer recipe. Zverev blinked early. The toss drifted, the forehand framed, the backhand line, his signature, landed inches long. Fritz didn't merely absorb, he pounced. On breakpoint, he stepped inside a second serve and bladed a backhand cross that skidded low and away. Break secured in the opening stretch. Shoulders back. No roar, just a glance toward his box that said we're on script. From there, Fritz managed like a closer. He varied spots, tee, body, wide. So Zverev's predictive return stance never settled. He trusted the backhand depth that's become his indoor backbone. And whenever Zverev's court position crept back, Fritz uncorked the flatter forehand that has turned big points this season. At 4-2, Zverev tried to drag the American into longer rallies. Fritz sliced once, redirected twice, then lasered a forehand down the line. Statement ball. The set closed 6-3 on a pair of unreturnables. The second set brought Zverev's push. He found a higher first serve percentage, took cleaner cuts at the forehand cross, and finally created 3 breakpoints at 3-3. The arena leaned in. These are the micro-moments 6 Kings amplifies, the 90 seconds that decide a €7 million swing. Fritz's response? First serve body, whiff. First serve wide, chip block long. First serve T-ace. 3 consecutive bombs, 3 surgical locations. Deuce. Advantage Fritz. Hold. Crisis management like a veteran. From deuce to dagger took barely 2 minutes. With Zverev still processing the missed window, Fritz crushed a return at the hip, elicited a short ball, and punched the forehand through open space. Break for 5-4. 1 minute later, match. 6-3, 6-4 in 59 minutes. Ruthless as a clean room. Strip the drama and the numbers tell the same story. First serve points won sky high, second serve aggression rewarded, rally length controlled in the 0-4 shot band. But the deeper truth is psychological. This was Fritz's 6th straight tour-level win over Zverev, pushing the head-to-head to 10-5. That's not a blip. That's a matchup problem. The American serve patterns and backhand depth short-circuit the Germans' preferred geometry. Indoors, with less air on the ball and a skidding bounce, that edge compounds. The handshake was respectful and brief. Fritz didn't linger. He rarely does now. The evolution in his body language might be the biggest tell of all. No excess adrenaline, no search for the crowd. He collected his gear, exchanged a word with coach Michael Russell, and disappeared down the tunnel with Alcaraz already on his mind. Because that was the subplot ticking beneath every point. Carlos Alcaraz, already seeded into the semifinals, was watching. A fresher, healthier, top-ranked Alcaraz is the sport's ultimate chaos engine on a neutral court. But in this format, on this speed, with Fritz calibrated, the gap narrows. The American doesn't need to win the all-court highlights battle. He needs to mute the chaos, protect his serve, and weaponize the first strike. The arena murmured with it afterward. Journalists recalculated their brackets. Broadcast graphics spun out serve direction heat maps from Fritz's win. Meanwhile, the tournament narrative tightened. Djokovic versus Sinner on one side, a generational litmus test, and Alcaraz versus Fritz on the other. Fireworks promised, adjustments decisive. Riyadh's second night would deliver heavyweight theater. Practice courts told stories too. Alcaraz looked light in the corners. The ankle scare from Tokyo seemingly past tense. His forehand lift was wicked, the backhand redirect, compact and confident. The plan, glimpse between points, disguise, variety, tempo theft. Drop shots to tug Fritz forward, then stretch him with a heavy forehand to the ad corner. Mix early backhand line to freeze the American's footwork. Sneak a serve and volley at 30 all. It's the Alcaraz toolkit, if he lands enough first serves. Fritz's counter lay in simplicity. Repeatable mechanics. High first serve percentage. Early contact on the backhand return. Refuse the lure of extended exchanges where Alcaraz's improvisation blooms. Take court on second serves. And above all, make tiebreaks, where his serve patterns and calmer tempo have become assets rather than liabilities. By semifinal morning, the ABN arena hummed. The crowd skewed neutral but curious. This wasn't a rivalry built on social media narratives, but a tactical clash built in real time. Two styles, two philosophies. Precision versus invention. A world number one reasserting hierarchy versus a surging American insisting he's elite on merit, not marketing. Six Kings promised condensed drama. It got it. This wouldn't be a saga. It would be a knife fight. One or two returns taken early. One forehand framed. One missed spot on a 30-40 serve. That's the Riyadh math. And the player who wears the moment, rather than getting worn by it, gets the desert crown, or at least a ticket to Novak's gate. From the first toss, the semifinal pace was brutal. Fritz held to 15 with 3 first serves and a drive volley. Alcaraz answered with angles, then a disguised serve and volley that snapped the audience to attention. The message from both corners was clear. No freebies. The opening set was built on motifs. Fritz used the body serve on deuce to jam the Alcaraz forehand takeback. On the ad, he toggled T and wide to keep the Spaniard guessing. On return, he set up a half-step inside the baseline on second serves, daring Alcaraz to paint lines. Carlos responded with variety, drop shots, short-angle backhands, sudden forehand lift into the corners, to pry Fritz off his center. For 11 games it was a stalemate of micro-edges. Then came the crack, a 15-shot rally at 5-5 where Fritz refused the moonball reset, took an inside-in forehand on the rise, and forced a defensive lob. Overhead, break, 6-5. A minute later, first serve/wide, first serve/T, first serve/body, set Fritz, 7-5. Champions answer. Alcaraz did. In set 2 he got a fraction more depth on the backhand cross, which bought him time to take the forehand earlier. He also front-footed the return, especially on second serves, nicking points at 15-30 that had eluded him in the first. At 2-2 he conjured a trademark Alcaraz sequence. Inside-out forehand to stretch, drop shot to drag, lob to finish. The roar shook the rafters. The break for 4-2 followed, and with it came flow, that accelerating rhythm where Carlos seems to see 3 shots ahead and play 2 at once. 6-3 Alcaraz, and all square. If the match had been a best-of-5, we might have seen a 240-minute classic. Six Kings isn't built for that. One set for everything. Fritz returned to pattern discipline. Alcaraz doubled down on creativity. The American's first serve percentage hovered high. The Spaniard's highlight reel kept the pressure honest. At 3-3, Fritz erased 0-30 with a body serve, a backhand slam door down the line, and a serve plus one forehand that skidded through the deuce court. At 4-4, Alcaraz flirted with danger, 15-30, then salvaged it with a second serve ace and a backhand short hop pickup that defied geometry. 5-5. The match balanced on sand. Fritz stuck to his North Star, first serve, plus clarity on ball 2. He held with 2 unreturnables and a sneaky serve and volley surprise. 6-5. Alcaraz, serving to stay alive, missed a first serve by a hair, then watched a Fritz backhand return skid low and deep. 0-15. A drop shot attempt found the tape. 0-30. The world number 1 saved the first crack with a forehand laser, but at 30-40 Fritz read the wide serve, got the return down, and stepped into a backhand line that clipped chalk. Game, set, match. 7-5, 3-6, 7-5. Arms to the sky, no theatrics, just a long exhale and a look that said, plan executed. Tactically, the American won the serve/+1 duel and kept rallies in his preferred bandwidth. He accepted that Alcaraz would hit the shots that make thumbnails explode. What he denied him were runs, those three-game gusts that usually flip a night. Psychologically, Fritz's crisis management was the separator. Down break points? Hit your spot. Crowd boiling? Shrink the point. Indoors, that's maturity you can measure. For Alcaraz, there's no crisis, only calibration. The ankle looked fine, the explosiveness intact. But on fast courts, against elite serving, the equation is ruthless. If you don't land enough first serves and if the return depth isn't biting from ball one, the margins will chew even the best in the world. His team will pocket the tape. Too many second serve looks conceded, a few forehand accelerations rushed, the drop shot timing a hair early under scoreboard heat. All solvable. All useful with Paris, Turin, and Davis Cup on the horizon. For Riyadh, though, the headline is unambiguous. Taylor Fritz is in the Six Kings final. The American didn't just play well. He navigated a route through Zverev and Alcaraz without losing his identity, and that matters when the final gatekeeper is Novak Djokovic. Against Novak, the blueprint tightens further. Lean on serve variety, take away his patterns with early backhand pressure, be willing to transition when he stations deep, and accept that there will be 10-minute trenches where you simply have to hold your nerve. Djokovic, for his part, will treat this like any final. Squeeze the geometry until Fritz presses, bait the forehand into lower percentage windows, and unleash the return game that has broken more servers than any metric can honor. The Serb's superpower isn't just retrieval, it's moment control. He finds the seam when the opponent's heartbeat spikes. He did it against Sinner. He'll hunt it again here. Zoom out, and Riyadh has done exactly what it promised. Condensed drama, elite talent, shifting hierarchy. Fritz walks to the final as more than a hot hand. He looks like part of the new order, alongside Alcaraz and Sinner, challenging the legend who refuses to leave the summit. Under the desert lights, where every point feels twice as loud and 3 times as valuable, tennis distilled itself to essence. Serve, strike, nerve. 2 down, 1 to go. The throne doesn't move easily. But this week, Taylor Fritz proved he's strong enough to sit in the chair, and calm enough to breathe once he's there. Now comes Novak. Now comes the truth.